Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and today I have another folder to go in my mixed media project. So let's jump right in. So this is the purple folder. As you guys know, if you've been following along, this is the fourth folder in this series, and I did take from the comments that you guys would love another folder. So question about the next or the last folder. Would you prefer green or yellow? I kind of lean more towards green, but you guys let me know what you'd like to see and we'll do that. And then the last video will be us putting it together and adding some ribbon and adding some beads and just generally stitching it together and making it beautiful so that it can be given away to whoever is going to own this. So for this folder, as you guys know, if you saw the first video, I had already cut out 4 folders. And they are from the Tim Holtz Specimen dies. That's where this folder, the die for this is. And then I brought in, and it's cut out of the backdrops, the Tim Holtz backdrops. I believe it's number 4. It was the neutrals. That's what it's cut out for. And then those papers sitting beside there are the number 5. I don't end up using them, but I pulled out a bunch of ephemera and some book page and a doily and whatever, and just kind of get to sit down and play. This is not my most popular videos, but honestly, I just have so much fun making these that I don't even mind. They're just so fun to make. So I'm going to kind of walk you through a bit of my thought process here. So I really wanted the doily to kind of be predominant in this folder because it was in the pink folder originally in the first one. So I thought it would be kind of fun to bring it back in and have it kind of show up on the purple folder. And I did bring in 2 colors of mica stain for this one. I used Hocus Pocus and Fortune Teller. Those were both purples, as you can tell. And I was a little heavy-handed. I did have to dry this pretty vigorously. This cardstock or this paper is not really meant for water. So be aware of that if you're going to do something like this, what I'm doing here. This cardstock's not meant for water. So you have to be a bit light-handed. That's why I don't add water to this. I don't want to saturate the paper and have it have any issues. So I kind of am trying really hard just to add some colored spray. And I got a little heavy-handed in the center there. You can kind of see the bullseye. That's okay. We're going to cover it up, so it doesn't really matter. But just be aware that you want to be a little careful as you spray this cardstock because it is not meant for that. But I don't care. I have fun anyway. And paper, I mean, you can usually get paper to go back to its correct shape. So I don't really worry about stuff like that. But just be aware if you're going to recreate this. And then I added some doily. I did it to the front, the inside, and the back is where I'm going to add that last piece. And then I just cut off anything that's hanging outside of the folder. I do end up having to cut a few things off of this just because I want to sew them together. And because I want to sew them together, I can't have things I can have them hanging off the top or bottom, but they can't be hanging in the inside because, and you'll see what I mean here in a little bit because I end up having to cut stuff off. And that's because I want to sew these together later. I'm probably just going to hand stitch them, but I want to bind the folders together at a later date. So I can't have things, hanging off of the edge where I want to put them together. So be aware of that. And I left this clip in mostly just because I'm pretty sure this is where Mist shows up to, supervise my work. Otherwise, I don't. Yeah, there she's right there. This clip, I don't really achieve too much. I think I put down these 2 pieces and that was all. But she's going to wander through here in a second. She is sitting off to my left at the moment. I don't know if you guys can see her reflection in the glass mat there, but she's going to kind of wander through and she, has to put her foot on things. I don't know what she's playing with at the moment. She plays with stuff on my desk all the time. So not a lot happened necessarily in this specific little collage session, but she's there, so that's the reason. There she is. That's the only reason I left this clip in for you guys, is because she showed up, and I know you guys like to see my kitans, so I like to leave them in when they show up on the screen for you guys. And this is Mist, as you guys know. And for me, collage, a lot of it is honestly just how it feels to me. I pulled out a bunch of purple pieces that I thought would look good in this design, and then it's really just kind of playing with stuff until I'm happy. I'm sure that there's some kind of technological idea behind this, but for me, honestly, it's just trial and error. I put pieces there, and then if I like how it looks, I add it, and if I don't like how it looks, I take it off. I also am keeping in mind that My hope for this is that whoever ends up getting it, will add their own touch to it. They could add little pieces that they write in there, or, maybe they're going to add a little picture, or they're going to add something, so I don't want to fill up every square inch with something. I want them to be able to add something if they want to. I hope they want to. That's kind of the idea of this project. I'm kind of creating the base, and then they can add to it as they wish, if they want to journal a little bit in there, or, whatever they want to add to it, they can. So that's kind of my thought behind it. We'll see. I mean, it's hard because when you get something from somebody, sometimes you don't want to alter it at all. So, obviously that's going to be completely up to the person who actually gets this folder project. But that's my hope. And I did use a few different things in here. So most of the ephemera is from the Tim Holtz Palette Ephemera Pack or the Tim Holtz Memoir Ephemera Pack. The rub-ons are still the same ones I've been using the whole time. I don't think you can get these ones. I was pretty sure when I worked on that blue one, the blue folder, that the only one that was still available was the leaves, and this is the flowers, this is the botanicals, and I don't think you can get these anymore. But you guys know I've owned these for quite a while, and I just really want to use them because they're so pretty. So I don't think you can get these exact ones. However, any rub-on would do here. If you had any, or you could fussy cut out an image, you could, there's so many options. I'm just using what I have, but that purple paper, not the purple solid one, but the one with the florals underneath it, you could easily fussy cut some of those images out and use those here instead of the rub-ons. This is just because I love rub-ons and I wanted them to be kind of subtle in the background so that a person could add things on top. So I do kind of gravitate towards rub-ons just because I think they're a lot of fun and they add some interest without stealing the show. But you could really do anything here. This is just, I like to use what I have. You guys know I'm a big believer in using what you own, just because at the end of the day, you paid your hard-earned dollars for it. So make sure you use it. So that's kind of my thought there. And then I am also going to put that flower on the inside, the large flower. And again, this is because I'm hoping, I tried really hard in all of the folders to leave one section kind of bare, not so bare that you're like, hey Ciara, you missed a page, but bare enough that it would be easy for someone to add something on top of it. And literally, maybe they just want to put pictures of their children or their grandchildren or their cats or, their favorite florals or whatever it is, whatever you wanted to do. You could easily, print off some pictures and just add them to that more blank page. And then that would be your touch to this project, so completely out to you guys, but I did really try hard to add just at least one page that was easily addable to, but that didn't feel blank. So we'll look through all the folders together here as soon as I'm finished them all, but I did try really hard to leave one that had a little bit of open space so that you could easily add to it. So that's kind of what I was thinking. And now these are the leaves that I was talking about. You can still get these. At least you could last Thursday's video, I linked them and you could still purchase them. I don't know if you still can. I'll have them linked down below if you can. But otherwise, anything similar would work for sure. So after last week's video, I did ask you guys what you thought of how to give this away, and a couple of people came back to me and said that maybe they thought that my Happy Mail list would be the easiest way to do that. So I'm thinking I agree, because the only other alternative is to create another Google document and then have you guys enter on that, and you'd still have to give me the same information that I need for you to be on my Happy Mail list. So I think we'll just use my Happy Mail list. I think that I will just put all of the names into like a cup. I'll shuffle them around. I'll pick one out and that person just gets the project. So if you're on my Happy Mail list and you don't want to win this project, which is totally okay, no problem at all, just let me know. Okay. Just put it in a comment, just let me know that you don't, I'm just not going to hurt my feelings. It's 100% okay. I want someone to win this that wants to use it, so if that's not your interest, this isn't your style, let me know. And that's 100% okay. I promise you won't hurt my feelings or anything. I just want to make sure that, I don't want to give things to people who don't want them, because I don't want it to just come to you and then you put it in a drawer because it wasn't your style or it's not your thing. I'm hoping the person who gets it will, add their own touch to it and then put it in their journal or, put it on display or whatever, I'm just hoping it doesn't just live in a drawer and then nobody gets to see it. So I want the person to enjoy it. So we are going to add a wax seal to this one. This is just because I heart wax seals. They're like one of my favorite things in the world. I got this little kit off of Amazon. I'll link to that in my description down below. You guys can check it out if you're interested. And I like to add more than one color. I did 2 purples and a white just to kind of give a little bit of a marbled effect. And then I also pulled out these little leaves that I'm going to kind of adhere down with the wax seal just because I thought that they were interesting. No other reason. I've had these in my stash for a long time and I just thought that they would add a little interest. So I added them. And then we're going to use a wax seal that is a flower, because you guys know I'm kind of doing this whole situation as floral themed, really. So it's like a little bit vintage, but mostly floral with vibrant colors, because that's kind of how I roll. That's just my preference. So I'm going to put the wax down and then I'm going to put the stamp on top of it. And then I like to reheat the spoon so that I can get the excess wax off of the spoon, because you can see there's a little bit left inside the spoon. And I use that to kind of make my own pearls. So I'm going to drop them on my glass mat. You're going to see them here in a second. And I do the largest one and then 2 smaller ones. And then I like to add those to my project. So that's kind of what I like to do with that excess wax. And then of course I wipe out the spoon while it's still warm so that I can make sure that I get the wax to let go. And then I probably should have left this a little bit longer, but honestly, I just was impatient and I couldn't. So I gently lifted off the little wax stamp, and then I'm going to trim the excess wax. I have never had any issues doing this. It usually comes off really well. No problem at all. But I have to do this because I need to sew that side into the other signatures, or into the other folders. So we're going to create a signature out of all these folders. And I chose to cut off the little leaves as well for the same reason. I didn't cut off the ones that were hanging out the bottom because those don't matter. Just the ones that were hanging off of the side there, because they need to be able to go into the other folders. And here you can see that I'm just double checking that they won't have any issue. And then I'm pretty happy with it. And then for like a final touch here, I did need to bring in those little wax seals, and I'm going to add them as well. Just because, or these little like wax pearls, I don't know what you'd call them, wax dots, that I made with the excess wax, just because they match the project and they're really cute. And like I said, I did 3 different sizes. So, and they are this really beautiful dome shape. Like they turned out beautiful. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't want to toss them in the garbage. So I am just going to adhere them onto the project, because I think that's fun. And I do it on my glass mat in case I don't like the shape, because you don't have to add them. Like if they come out and they're all bubbly and weird and they don't work, that's okay. You don't need to use them, you know. This is just because I think it's really fun. And you could absolutely create your own embellishments this way. Like if you just wanted to warm up some of those wax melts and just do little dots like I'm doing here, like you could absolutely do that instead of a wax stamp, and then just kind of create custom domed embellishments to go on your projects. Like I don't see anything wrong with that. Absolutely. You know, and I'm a big believer in using what you have and using, you know, and having fun with it. So I had a blast with this folder. You guys know purple is my favorite color, so I've been really looking forward to this folder. But we will make one more, and then we will actually stitch them all together. We're going to add some ribbon to tie them up together, like to tie them so that they don't just sit open. We're going to add some beads to the string. You know, we're going to do some final touches, and then we're going to pick the person who's going to win this. So make sure that if you are interested in winning this, that you put your name in my happy mail list. You can always tell me to remove it later if you don't want to stay on my happy mail list. Although, you know, it's just me sending out fun goodies. So, but completely up to you. It's your information. So, but yeah, that is the project I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll consider leaving me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.